everyone. I am Soumya Joseph, an associate of the Dublin Hub and a member of the Voices team. And today I'm delighted to welcome you all to the Interview Skills Workshop. Today's workshop will be an interactive session led by Anum Shakeel, who is a global shaper, entrepreneur, Pulse ambassador, and WEDU mentor. I'm also joined by my Voices team, Sophia, Cynthia, and everyone else who couldn't join us, but we thank them for all the hard work they put into pulling this together. For those watching us, if you can, please turn on your camera. This will also be very helpful for us to have a more interactive session. If you're not familiar with Voices, Voices is a not-for-profit community that envisions a world where women are equally represented in public spaces. Voices focuses on elevating women to access career knowledge and skills development opportunities and mentoring from both advanced and early mid-career level professionals. Voices was founded by Global Shapers, a community and network of young people driving dialogue and change. It is a joint initiative of the Cambridge and Dublin Shapers Hub, based in the UK and Ireland. And our Voices team join us today with Sophia and Cynthia. But before we kick off, we would like to ask you a question about how you heard about Voices, and we shall share a quick poll to fill in. Thank you, everyone. Without delay, I will pass it to Anam, who will guide us through this session, and I hope you enjoy the workshop. Anam, the floor is all yours, and thank you so much for agreeing to do this. We're very, very glad to have you, and welcome to the Voices Workshop.
Thank you so much, Soumya, if I correctly pronounce your name.
Yes, you did.
Okay, so good evening from Pakistan, everyone. I'm really, first of all, I would like to thank to Claudga and all the Voices team members for having me and providing me this opportunity to speak with the young souls here. So firstly, let me introduce myself. If you can put on the slide. As Soumya already mentioned, that I'm a global shaper from Karachi Hub, and uh, the next slide. So I'm basically a social entrepreneur, and why I say that I'm a social entrepreneur, it's because that I am working on a cause to bridge this gap between industry and academia. And in my university, I'm basically passed out of a government university, and we have a lot of issues in the government universities usually. Being a student of a government university, you have to face a lot of challenges. Sometimes it could be a political experiences, sometimes there are no teachers available to learn. So being the part of that university, it was very difficult to get the corporate exposure, as many people usually think that it's a state university, so it's a university where teachers are not available to teach you and XYZ. So they think that private universities are more appropriate. Private university candidates are more appropriate to hire on the senior positions, or to even to apply for the internship. I have actually faced it many times, that when I apply for a certain internship position, it was secured by some private university student, and they not give us priority. So in that scenario, what I find out that the private university students have more privileges than the government university students. So I started working on it, and I convinced my university's chairperson to actually support the students who wanted to learn more, and just not a few subjects to get the major's degree, but to have some more visibility in the corporate sector. So I've started this initiative, and since 9 years I am doing this, and it's a whole story of it's basically a struggle story, that how I made this TMC and how I helped these students. So after my efforts in this area, my not only my department appreciates me, but then I realize that this problem is not with the government university students, but it also prevails in the private universities. So I help those students also in this club, those who need help in their final year projects, those who wanted to interview somebody from the industry. And how I did this, I just in my university years I've started to get some internships, and then after those internships I made a good PR, and with that PR I helped my juniors, and still I'm helping more students to get into the corporate world. And this will help actually, um, this will help me being a corporate lady also. So I did my 8 internships in my career, and then I this is my fourth job, and overall it's my ninth year in the industry. So with all of these experiences which I have in my university life, with this with this social entrepreneurship exposure, then I realized I need to do something more for my community, with this, for the students community. Then I joined a company where I found that they have the same vision which I have in me, which I have for myself, and that was the startups ecosystem. So I joined this company, and we actually helped the Pakistani startup ecosystem to scale up. And we invited 300 plus startups across Pakistan, like around 17 cities. We invited these startups, and they actually get the exposure, and they actually get the chance to network with the leading technology companies. It was a conference which was attended by 10,000 people here in Pakistan, and it was the similar and more or less people actually connected it with the GITEX, which is a largest conference in Dubai. So they actually connected with that level to our conference. So it was another experience where I have worked with the Facebook, Google, IBM, with international companies. It was for the struggle and the challenge was that Pakistan was not much have highlighted positively on the international media, but we started working on it. We started working on the positive image of the Pakistan, and then we invited these global companies to come and speak physically in Pakistan with the startups and to invest here in Pakistan. And with that conference, the achievement which we got is that AWS officially comes to the Pakistan after our conference. So this was a very this was a highlighted thing which I wanted to mention here. Then from the part of community work, as it's always on my priority, so I have joined a community which is Vido Global. And in Vido Global, what we do is that there is a mentor who is connected with a mentee across the world. There could be any city where you can connect with a mentor. So from Asia, I'm the ambassador. I'm the mentor, and I'm also the ambassador for the Vido Global. Um, so I have trained 3 mentees up till now in my tenure, and one is from Nepal, and the two are from Bangladesh, with but in the different cities. Um, and after that, I also joined a community which is raising the digital rights and helping the women in the digital, sorry, with in the digital era. So I'm representing Pakistan on World Pulse also, and World Pulse is a community which is helping young women to come and write about their issues, their cultures, their problems, their success stories. So it's a very good platform where you can actually have here at World Pulse we call everybody as a sister. So We see whenever we see a story on the World Pulse platform, we usually say that we have a story from a sister from another city or another country. So it's a very comfortable platform where you have discussions and dialogues across the world. Then as you all know that I'm representing Global Shapers community also. So in Pakistan, we are the young people who are working for the social change in Pakistan, and particularly in our city. So from the perspective of Karachi hub, we have highlighted we have a lot of projects. The one project which is very much highlighted, and that was actually appreciated by the Microsoft Bill Gates also. The Bill Gates also. So he actually mentioned the curator of our hub at the Gates notes, and he mentioned him as a hero of humanity, as we did a lot of work in this COVID time period, and we had floods in Pakistan. So we tried our level best to serve our community in the underprivileged areas, where we actually visited and given out all the kits for the COVID, or if it's a flood, so then we will then we had to give the shelters and the food to that community. So these were the two projects which was very much highlighted by the Global Shaper community from the Karachi hub. um, and because all of these activities, and because of my writings, and because of my articles on the World Pulse, and with industry academia linkages, and with a lot of efforts in this area, many times I am highlighted by the national and international media, and they actually, because of these keywords, if you write the Anum Shakeel TMC, or Anum Shakeel social entrepreneur, or Anum Shakeel global shaper, so they actually showed many of my pictures on the Google as well. So I'm up on the keywords also. So we will be talking about these things also in our session. So next slide. This was my introduction, as precise as, as I could be. So if anybody wants to volunteer, I would like to have someone who can actually answer these questions for me. Uh, if anybody wants to volunteer, so I can simply ask I'll be I'll ask these questions.
If any participant would love to volunteer at this point, this will also be like an exercise for you. Please unmute yourself at this point. It would be really helpful.
Sure, why not? I'll do it.
Hi, Shirley.
Hi,
So,
Shirley.
hi. Hi everyone.
Okay,
Um
Shirley. So I'm giving you a position where you are applying. So I'm looking for a communications manager. And may I know, first of all, may I know your latest degree? What are you doing right now? Your
Politics and
education?
international relations. So I don't know what a communications whatever
Okay.
you said would be doing, but
Okay. So you are doing international bachelor's in international relations?
yes, a BA.
Okay. So if I'm asking you that there is a post for a international relations internee, and you wanted to apply for that position, okay, and I'm ABC company, and you are applying. So these are the 5 questions which I'm going to ask you. Okay, so Shirley, welcome you. I welcome you on behalf of ABC company or TMC company. So could you please explain me that why you want so first of all, I wanted to know more about you. That tell me about yourself.
Well, my name is Shirley, and I just currently finished my undergrad in politics and international relations. I have also just finished a 1 year volunteer program with students at a primary school where I teach them debating skills. And I have also in the past volunteered quite a bit with international charities that work abroad in developing countries, just because I enjoy international affairs. I try to watch the news every other day.
Okay, great. So let's move forward to another question which I wanted to ask you, that why do you want to do this internship?
I want to do this internship because I feel like the organization aligns with my values. They have a diverse staff, and I'm somebody who has lived in 3 different countries. So I feel like with this diverse staff, there will be a place where I'll fit in and many people that I'll get along with. And also because I'm very interested in international relations, of course. I've studied international relations for 3 years, so I'm hoping that I will gain more practical skills from this internship.
Okay, very good. So my third question from you is that why should we hire you?
You should hire
We have 5 other resumes with us. So why should we hire you?
you should hire me because I have a lot of experience in terms of meeting many different groups of people. Like I said, I lived in 3 different countries and um, uh, traveled to a number that I cannot put forward. So through those experiences, I was able to develop my communication skills and adapt my communication skills for people from different backgrounds and people of different ages. So I feel like by adding me to your team, then I'll be able to contribute communication skills with many different stakeholders you might have.
Okay, perfect. So my next question is, what are your strengths and if you have any weakness?
I would say my strength is time management. I'm quite good at organizing myself. I make sure that I do have the time to put in uh, the work that I have to do, and deadlines, but at the same time, I'm great at making time for friends and family, as well as time for myself so that I can refresh and better be able to be productive when I'm at work. Um, I would say that my weakness is that I tend to enjoy to meet deadlines earlier, significantly earlier than most people might prefer. So a weakness of mine is that I do like to push for earlier deadlines just to make for delays, and sometimes that can cause a bit of friction because other people like to take their time.
Okay, nice. My last question is, if I guess it's your first experience or you are leaving any position and joining here?
It would be my first experience. I graduated a few months ago.
Okay, okay, Shirley. Thank you so much, Shirley, for this volunteer. Um, I am really delighted to see your responses, and I'll be giving my feedback also on this. Can you change the slide? Okay. Um, Next slide. We will be is no no. Yeah. The previous slide. The previous slide. Yes. Thank you. I guess there is some issue with the internet, I guess. Okay, so surely your answers are very much clear, and I'm glad that you have very clear idea about the first five questions whenever you are going for some interview. And we were actually what was my idea to give this mock interview is to have this. To give this impression to other candidates, so the people who are joining us today, and we can give this we can give actually some tips and techniques to them as well, that how surely replies or how a candidate replies. So for me, when somebody asks me that tell me about yourself, so your tip number one is that your resume has already said it all. As Shirley did not mention everything about the resume, that I do this, and a list of a lot of things. She mentioned very clearly and precisely. So what I believe is that you don't need to make it so long, and you are reading your resume in this in return to answer of this question. Your resume says it all. Now you need to make it interesting. You can share your hobby or volunteer work, like Shirley also mentioned, and like I did in my interview with one of the well-known company in Pakistan. That when they asked me that why that introduce yourself, so I've mentioned this experience of industry academia linkages, and I said that I have this passion in my mind, that I wanted to help young souls and young and the students. So why it works, or why the Shirley's answer is very much precise. This answer shows that the candidate is responsible and community minded. So when if I'm hiring Shirley, I'll definitely say yes to her, because she's clear and she have this thing in her mind. And I got this impression that she's a community minded person, and she will be a good candidate, and she'll be mingle around in my company's culture also. So the next answer which Shirley gives, that why do you want this job? So whenever the candidate is answering this question is basically to see what you know about the company and the job. So take time beforehand to thoroughly read about the company. In this session, surely don't know about the ABC company, as there was no ad mentioned here. But whenever you are answering this question needs to be researched about the company. You need to research about your company wherever you are applying. So the employer gets this impression that you know the company and the job well. For example, I want this job because it emphasizes sales and marketing, two of my greatest skills. You can, I'm just giving the example that if you are applying for a marketing post or marketing manager post or sales manager post or sales executive post, so what you can say, I want this job because it emphasizes sales and marketing, that are two of my greatest skills. And you can also add up an example to it. You can say that in my previous job, I have increased the sale up to 20%, what was at that time considered as a flat industry. So I know I could bring my 8 or 9 years of marketing experience to this company and help your company to grow. In this way, what you are trying to say, and why this answer will work for you, is that this answer is extremely effective. And why it is effective? Because you have quantified the results. You say that you have actually increased the sales up to 15%. Whenever we are applying for a marketing or sales job, or any job which is related to the numbers, then it is very it gives a very good impression when you say that it's a you so let me just give you an example with my experience, that whenever they asked me that w- whenever there is a post come along and they asked me about my my why I'm applying for this job, or why do you want this job. So I say that uh, I reply in that way that it gives them an impression that it is best for the company to hire me. So why how I answer this? I say that I have a very good communication skills and I have a very good network, and in my network I have I always make a list of two, three, four companies in which I have a very good PR, and I said that I have the very good PR with the CEOs or the managers of these companies, which actually benefit my new company's interest also. So this actually shows that my answer is quantifiable, that I have these five companies in my mind. I have thoroughly researched about my new company, that if I'm applying for this company which is in fintech, I have very good relations in the fintech companies, in the financial technology companies, or I have very good links in the banking sector. So it will definitely benefit my new company. So you need to give this impression when you are answering for this question, that why do you want this job. Also, in this scenario where I have mentioned that I have raised 15% and I could bring 8 or 9 years of experience. So this will also give the reminder to the interviewer that you have almost a decade of professional experience in marketing and sales. It also gives a very good impression. And if in our case we are surely applying for the internship, so we will be discussing this as well in our next slide, that how surely can impress the interviewer in that scenario also. The other question is, why should we hire you? So be prepared to explain that why you are the best applicant to be hired here. As Shirley answered very well, and she explains why she's a good candidate for this. So make your response condensed, because you don't have much time to explain everything, but you need to be very concise, that this is my capability and this is what I'm this is what I can offer to you. So in my case, I've mentioned that I have like I am PR and communication specialist in my current company. So when they interviewed me, I've said that I have a very good connections in the leading PR agencies, and I have a very strong network where I can easily arrange any press briefings, even on the short notice. So this gives the impression why it works, because it gives the impression to my employer that if there are some certain times where you need to manage things very quickly, and sometimes there are press briefings or media briefings on which you need to do it on the urgent basis, so she can actually handle the pressure as well. Now the next question is, what are your strengths and weaknesses? I'll be explaining the strength and weaknesses part, and I'll be emphasizing on this more. We have the slides on the strength and weakness part. We have the separate slides for this. On the part of why do you want to leave or have left your job, the most important tip is, because we don't have any previous experience in Shirley's case, but most of the cases, if I'm applying for a job and they have mentioned 3 years of experience, they're looking for a candidate who have 3 years of experience or 5 years of experience, and you are applying for some higher post. So the thing is that you probably having previous experiences. Like I've mentioned that I this is my fourth company. So my recent employer asked me about this, that why you wanted to switch your company or why you wanted to leave your company. So I've mentioned this, that I wanted to grow and I wanted to learn more. Um, never say bad words or try to defame your previous employer, because the world is so small and you need to be, somehow you need to meet these people in your corporate circle. And this is very much important to understand, is that your current employer will think that if you are saying saying something wrong about your previous employer, or trying to defame your previous employer, so you will be doing the same thing with when you are applying for new job. So never ever mention this, that you wanted to switch the job because you are not satisfied with the company, you are not satisfied with the culture of the company, or XYZ. Just try to be more specific and more polite, and say that I wanted to grow. As I said that I am applying for this job because I wanted to explore the financial technology industry. Previously, I was working as a project lead for a very big project, and I worked with not only with the multinational companies but also the global companies. But now I wanted to explore more, and I wanted to make a career shift in the financial technology industry. That's why I'm applying here. So in this way, I'm not defaming my previous employer, or not saying a bad word regarding my previous employer, that they were not good people, or they were harsh people, or they were not giving me the commissions, or XYZ. So never defame your previous employer. This is the tip for why do you want to leave your job. Can we have the next slide? Okay, just give. So I've listed down these few of the pointers, which I think that this will help you out in your interview experience. Um, so I guess the first pointer is updated resume. Again, there are two scenarios. One, if you are applying for a job uh, and you are a fresh graduate, then you need to work on your resume from the scratch, and you need to make your resume on your own. Please be very specific on your resume. You need to make your don't ask your siblings to make your resume. Don't ask your teachers or somebody else, your coaches, to help. Asking for the help in resume is different, but asking them to prepare your resume is very much different. So in case one, if you are fresh graduate, or you are applying for the job, and you are almost there in your interview section, so the interviewer will get this impression if in case they ask, you have mentioned XYZ thing in your resume and you don't know about it. Because that resume, for example, Shirley asked me to make her resume. I made her resume on and on this for this internship opportunity. But when Shirley gets in that space, and the interviewer asked her that you have mentioned this, that you worked with TMC. Can you please explain me what is TMC? And surely don't know about the abbreviation of that TMC. This will give a very bad impact, and interviewer will judge you on this also. So whenever you are making your resume, be very specific. Read out your resume, and work on your resume on your own. Before applying, nowadays when you are applying for the jobs, and when you are getting the interview calls, and when you are going for the interviews, the interviewer also checks your social media handlers. They are actually looking each and everything. So don't think that if you are posting anything on your Facebook, and this will not be highlighted, or this will not be noticed by your employer. No. everything is noticed by your employers. So just try to to make your uh, to give the employers this impression that you have a very good a profile. And when it comes to Facebook, it's like, okay, if you are posting your friends and family pictures, no issues, you are posting it, okay. But when it comes to LinkedIn, it's very much important that your LinkedIn is updated with all the mentioned credentials, your education, and your accomplishments. So communicate a clear and strong personal brand. Um, Again, if you are applying for a job, or if you are at the interview, in both the cases you need to do homework. So communicate a very clear personal brand story. Before you attend an interview, you should already have created a strong personal brand and a professional brand via this process. So your professional value statement should answer the essential questions, including that who you are, or what do you have to offer, or what makes you unique. So they also get the impression from your LinkedIn, or from your Instagram stories, or from your Twitter account. So whenever you are going for the interview, just make sure that you have a very clear focus on your social media handlers. Be sure you have complete and you have clarity on your answers. If why I'm saying the this that communicate a clear and strong brand personality always, I say this because I faced this one of my in one of my interview. They've asked me that you have posted about on your Facebook, you posted about the global shapers community. Out of nowhere, they've asked me this question that on your Facebook you have posted that you are now part of the global shapers community. What is the global shapers community? So sometimes it should be like random that people ask you something that you see it very nominal thing, that okay, if I'm posting it on my Facebook, it's my personal account, whatever I post is my thing. So you need to be careful on that part also. When I say that compelling story, so the compelling story, what do you what I meant by compelling story is information about you is everywhere today. You all know. So people will read out, again, people will not only read out your resume, but also they look upon your LinkedIn profiles and your Twitter feeds. So um, this will deliver your story to them, that are you a dog lover, right? Are you a dog lover, or do you have any political affiliations, or anything, which whatever you have posted on your social media, it is somehow on in the search engines. So it is like I'm just mentioning this, that whenever I write my name on Google, and I write Anum Shakeel, so it shows a lot of pictures and a lot of data. But how come that data is coming on the Google account? So it is they are gathering data from my Facebook, they're gathering data from my Twitter, wherever I've posted, whatever I posted from my account, they're abstracting each and everything and showing on the Google account. And it actually helps me in both the way. It could be my, I say it could be my strength, as as well as it could be my weakness. Because why I'm saying my strength is that people know about me, and with that I get a lot of opportunities. But at the same time, if I wanted to hide something from someone, for example, if I don't wanted to share my Global Shapers association with any of my employer, so whenever they are searching about me, they get to know about the Global Shapers community as well. So we need to be very much focused at what we are posting. So we need to interact with the social media, through the social media, but in a very focused manner, and with a very you see, in a very productive manner. So tell a story that ends with you hitting it out of the park and making a positive impact on the employer. So uh, um, moving on to the accomplishments, identifying measurable accomplishments. Why I say measurable accomplishments? Because if everyone has accomplishments, so whether you are an entry level intern or a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, or you have accomplishments from your career that will help you position yourself for future roles. So, the key to selling yourself during an interview is to identify your unique accomplishments and incorporate them into your brand and your story. So, since starting, I'm saying that brand story, brand story. So, you need to become a brand. If you have those qualities, if you don't have those qualities, you can build those qualities very easily. You just need to find out the right way to post everything on the social media or in the networking events. So this is very much important, to be uh, to present yourself, to present your persona in physical and on the social media, but with the clear, concise. As you make a list of your accomplishments, be sure that they are measurable, and whenever possible, include as statistics to put your accomplishment in perspective. Perhaps you provided a customer service to more than 120 customers per week and achieved a 75% resolution rate. Whatever your contributions were, quantifying them with quantify them. So as I've mentioned that as I've mentioned earlier also, that I have raised this 15% sales rate to the 15% where the industry was almost flat. So this will help the interviewer to judge you very easily, and to get the impression that you have this in your mind and you have very much clear. So, sharing measurable accomplishments are critically important to successfully interviewing and landing to your next job or your internship. Uh, okay. If Hello, my question is, how would you tackle a question that asks about whether you applied for a plan B or other options? Uh, okay, surely. I did not get your question. If you can unmute yourself and explain it to me.
Anam, I was sorry to interrupt. I was wondering if we could take all the questions at the end of the presentation. Also, just to let you know, we are running, I think we'll be running overtime. So we just have 5 to 10 minutes to wrap up, if that's okay.
Okay, okay. Let
Yeah,
me just do it fast.
yeah, yeah. Thanks.
Okay, okay. Uh, the other thing is practice at home. Whatever I'm saying this, whatever I'm mentioning in all my four of the pointers, you need to practice all those at home. Just stand in front of mirror and practice at home. Whatever, practice your resume. Um, uh, Frequently do this mock sessions with your friends, with your colleagues, with the in with, you, if you have a good friend who can ask questions and you can answer, or if you don't have anybody, you can actually stand in front of mirror and practice at your with yourself also, that why I'm a good candidate, and then answer yourself. This works for me well, so I'm saying this. And arrive early if it's a physical session, arrive early if it's a hybrid session, if you are doing a Zoom call, or so arrive early, and try to be comfortable with the environment. I always try to be on, if I'm going for an interview, and even if I'm going for a meeting, I try to be arrive early at that place so that I can be comfortable with the environment. It also gives you a positive and satisfactory feeling that you are on time, and you can take a deep breath, and that will help you in going for the in for going in front of the interviewer. Dressed up properly. And when I say dressed up properly, so in previous sessions you have already, I guess, heard about these colors and all, but I prefer in our culture, in our cultural values, we prefer that in corporate world, it's like we should wear blues, or we should wear white, as it's a natural, it gives you natural feeling. It won't give you a loud feeling. Don't wear very much dark shades, or don't wear red, or some that any color orange that is loud. So dressed up properly for the interviews. Next slide, please. So as I've mentioned that we can actually work on our strengths and weaknesses. So the best way to respond is to describe the skills and experiences you have that directly correlate with that job you are applying for. So whenever you are applying for a job, why I'm saying that you need to, and I've asked this question on the, I guess Claudka asked this question on the Slack community also, that why you, um, okay, uh, am I audible?
Yes, Anam. Yeah, you are audible.
We can hear you
Okay,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is some distraction, I guess. I,
We can hear you, Anam, right now. Yeah.
I guess. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I guess some issue with my laptop. I guess it's hanged. Just give me a second.
No worries. Till then, I wanted to say, because I think to not overrun the timing, we have a Slack community for voices, and if you have any questions pertaining this workshop, please feel free to put your questions in the Slack community, and we can take it up from there. And Anam can answer us on the Slack community as well. So if we overrun the time and you have questions, please feel free to join our Slack community, and we can answer your questions there. Thank you.
Okay, okay, I'm back. Sorry. So how you can talk about your strengths? Shirley did it very well. What I suggest is just brainstorm before going for the interview. As Soumya also mentioned, that you can ask your questions on the Slack. So I'll be helping whenever I get time. I'll help you in brainstorming your strengths. So what my tips for the brainstorming is, sit down and make a list of your top strengths. It could be like 10, at least 10, and be creative on that. So that and if you feel like, jot down everything that comes to mind, and you can delete later if you like. So your strengths could be include your experience, your talents, your soft skills, your education training, or if you have trouble coming up with enough work related strengths, so jot down your positive personality qualities, or personal strengths as well. So you may find ways to relate these to your job performance, right? And it always soft skills always works whenever you are applying for a job. So if you are applying for an internship also, you can have you can actually mention your soft skills. The second thing is be focused. Again, I'm saying that narrow your list down to you have made the list of 10, then narrow down that list to 5, and that 5 which you can explain better. The more the better, and you may not talk about all of these strengths in every interview. So you need to be focused that if you are applying for the internship, if you are applying for the officer job, and if you are applying for the managerial job, these need to be very accordingly. The third thing is prepare examples. I tried to be I tried to give more examples, and that is why we are out of time also, that I try to give the example. So just be focused and give examples. Develop at least one example or interview story to illustrate each of your strengths if you are not sure how to go or how to craft about it. Can you please post the next slide? Okay, so these are the slip ups to avoid whenever you are mentioning. So some general errors are people usually reply the inappropriate answer. So if I asked earlier that you are applying for this internship opportunity in IR, and or she's replying me that I have a strength that I can cook very well, so I'll say that it has no link with it. So any strengths you give, you should be it should be related to the skills expected of that candidate. And if you are applying for communication job or the project management job, and you are saying that I have my strength. I'm a very good athlete, so it's unlikely to enhance your application. So irrelevant replies may also suggest to the interviewer that your weaknesses lies in that area. Don't give the list of strengths. Don't say that I have a lot of things to mention and probably this and that. Don't spin around the adjectives. Just say simple things, and simple as Shirley mentioned that she has this and this. That's it. Unclear or common answers, never do this, that I think or I guess. No, it gives the impression that you don't know yourself well. So you need to demonstrate self-awareness in this. Next slide. uh, so if you fail to identify your strengths, these are the three tips you can work on, and you can apply. Look back on the past achievement. If you have like Shirley mentioned that she worked with she worked as an volunteer at this place, so she can actually give the examples from that. Try to recall and praise or feedback you received as a student in your school life, in your university life. So you can actually do that. Similar, review any achievements you have included in your CV and identify what stands out. So the other thing is ask your teachers, family, and friends. I've mentioned these people are the closest one, and give closest one and give you very much good advices. Um, the third thing is look at the key skills of others in a role similar to yours. So as I've mentioned that most of the people who visited my LinkedIn, they have a very much clear idea that what I'm doing and how I'm doing. So they can even approach me for the sessions also, or for these kind of things, that how you prepare your LinkedIn, or how we can connect with the people. So I have a lot. I have around 2,000 connections on my LinkedIn, and I try to be specific in that area also. That um, I uh, I accept the request, or if I am sending the invitation, I try to be specific on my career side. That if I'm a communication and PR specialist, I look for the people who are working in the communication side, and so that I can observe and learn from their profiles as well. So it also helps me in finding out my strengths. Next slide, please. This is just a chart for the physical and the hybrid thing. So as I've also mentioned earlier, that know your resume well. If you are going for the interview, you should know about your resume, that whatever you are mentioning, it should be very much clear. It should be in your words. Don't copy paste from the Google, or don't try to don't try and don't actually ask your siblings or anyone else, or the recruiters to make your resume. No, please make it yourself so that you can explain it better. And in the hybrid session, they will ask you the same questions. So there is no difference in pre and post COVID area when it comes to your resume. Then make when you are going for the physical interview, always make an emergency kit. You need to have all the documents prepared beforehand. And if you are going for the Zoom session or hybrid interview, so please make sure you have a separate room. Right now I'm sitting in a separate room, and I make sure that everybody knows in my home that I'm doing a session, and nobody will intervene in my room. Or if you have kids, you need to be more specific on that side also. Then know about your job description. Read at least 2 or 3 times. Whenever you have a job description, you have a lot of answers from that job description also. And when the interviewer asks you that why you want this job, you can actually abstract your answer from the description. We have talked about the dressing thing also. So in hybrid, you need to sit properly. You need to have a calm room with a wide background preferably. And if you don't have it, so just choose a decent background. If you are sitting in a room and giving a professional interview or the workshop, then body language matters a lot. Don't show your nervousness when you are going for the interview. Don't like most of the people, when they are going for the interview, what they do is they have the pen in their hand. They try to rub their hands, or they wanted to tick tock, and they try to pin down the pen. So don't do that. Just sit calmly, and before entering into the room, take a deep breath. So because body language matters a lot in your interviews. And when it's hybrid session, you need to have a comfortable chair. You need to set your cameras and the audio before the interview. After interview, you can follow up with them that when should I can call you. In the physical interviews, I always asked about when did I get a call next, or when I will getting my answer regarding this interview. If it's a online interview, then you can ask over the email that when you will be getting the another email from the site. uh, Always maintain your energy level before going to interview. Just if you have a interview in afternoons, so just try to have a lot of water before going to the interview. And be fresh, have some fresh juice, and then leave. Because energy levels, you need to maintain your energy level before entering into that office. So when you are going for the post hybrid thing, you need to tone down. You need to be clear, and you, with your voice, you need to be enthusiastic, and you need to be calm and composed at the same time. You don't need to be like uh, that attitude that you are very much eager to have this job, or neither you need to be like this, that oh okay, if I don't get this job it's fine. No, you need to be clear and at the same time be enthusiastic. um, a short note: when doing the hybrid interviews, you need to have a backup internet device. So check the video and the audio is 15 minutes prior to the interview. And if applying for the international positions, just take care of the time zones also. It matters a lot. Whenever I'm having some international commitments, so I try to be more specific on the time zones also. And next slide please. So these are my closing remarks. I've tried to sum up these, and you need to practice your interview skills and be particular. Ask the feedback after your interview. Your resume and your application form will also be used by the interviewers as a source for questions. So that's why I've mentioned that read your resume well and make sure you are very familiar with all the information contained in the resume. That if you are even using a short form, that for example, you have used this word that I worked on the KYCs. So they probably ask you what is KYC, and you don't know the abbreviation of the KYC. So you need to be familiar in that way also. That One last piece of advice: at an interview, your primary role is to be yourself, the best of yourself. Don't try to don't try to be someone else, or don't most of the time, as I'm the eldest one, so it feels like I don't it won't apply on me, because most of the time we try to be like our sisters, be like our elder brothers. So we try to give that impression also. So don't do that. Just be yourself. Whatever you are doing your best. Yes. So you can reach me out